The next step is actually selecting the header, which is sometimes actually tricky because this is a macro specific, because not each macro will include this line. So normally if you have another macro that you want to work on, or you have something else in mind, you can actually search it in Google, for example, HTML. You can search for something like this, and this is actually the official documentation of Microsoft on how to do this in VBA. So this is actually with the active document sections, which selecting sections actually. For example, the header, range, text. This is actually setting text in the header, and so on. So this means you can actually like select the header and, for example, add like a text or a picture, or try to insert like a table. And even we have an example here downside. It is about the footer, that actually you can insert page numbers. So this is actually interesting on how to do something similar. So if you are searching for something like this, you have to be patient, because sometimes it will require like some additional search in order to find like what code you want to use, and does that work, like does the code work as intended or not. So this is actually crucial in order to build a good macro. You have to look at the documentation, because it will save you a lot of time, and it will give you actually examples on how to do this. So let's select the header in our document. So we will say, instead of active document, we will say document only, and then sections, and then we don't actually want to select a text. So we will call, for example, an item, because we want actually to insert the logo in the header, or the image in the header. We can actually search for this as well. Okay, so now then we can say, so we are actually telling it to select the first header that we need, because you can actually, in a Word file, you can have multiple different headers. So the one we want to select is actually the first one, because we want to insert the logo in that one. And then we can say, for example, range, and actually the logo is actually like setting it as a shape. So we have a line shape. You can actually search for this actually if you want. You can say, for example, because mostly everything you are going to do, it has been done before by way or another, but just, for example, it was made before. So here's also a similar one that saves a document section, and then header, for example, and then range. So this is actually tries to update the header with a shape, so, or adding an image. So let's continue with our one. So we will say that this is the one. First shape, then, oh sorry, then we should add picture from the options, and that picture is actually our logo file, which is this one. So take this copy and paste it. So now this is actually should add our logo file. So let's test it and let's see if it is like gonna do anything or not. So as you see, we have the file. Okay, and we got this actually inserted in the header as we intended to do. Yeah, this is the header. But as you see, the image is actually too big. So we need to control this as well in order to, like, you don't want to insert the image with its full size. You need, for example, save it, like resize it, or do any kind of processing on that image in order to keep it like in a nice way. For example, you want to move it to the other side or something like this. So keep it, for example, like this. And then move it, for example, to this part. You want to keep it here, for example, on the right side. So this is actually up to you, and this is what we are going to do for the next step in order to resize it. So what actually we have here is important information that we can use with our like next. So you can see there is a height here, which is 1.26 centimeter, and we have actually width, and then we have rotate, and we have scale. So these are actually important information because you can use them to resize your image for now. So let's close this one without saving, and then we will tell how to okay, we can move actually this one here. So the second step, we want to control that logo, so we have to set the logo, but in order to control it, we have to convert it into a shape. So first thing, we have say logo as shape, and then we will do a similar thing as we did with document. In order to convert this to like a document file that we can control, we have to set it as a document, and the same will happen for the logo is actually like we will set that logo. So we can actually copy this one. So now we actually converted our image actually into a shape. So with this logo, actually we can control it. We can set the width, the height, and so on. So for example, let's say that this is like, we want to say this is the height. Okay. We can actually call it logo height. And then 1.5. And this one width. Okay, keep it 1.5 as it is. So now we have the height and width. We can use them actually in order to set the size of the logo. So let's say with logo and say height will equal and with width is equal. So now actually, so it will use the height and width that we already mentioned as 1.5, and it will add it to the logo. So let's try this one and let's test. Okay, as we see that we cannot see actually our logo, even it is got inserted there. Here's this part, actually this one, but it is too small. And why this happens, even if we told the word to keep the size as 1.5, that word is using another scale actually, and that scale is like points. So we need to convert from centimeters to points. So for this, we will actually call centimeters to points, and then we'll tell him this. And we will actually do the same for the width as well. So let's try again and see what is happening. And here we go. We have our shape, we got it inserted, and if we investigated the height and width, it is 1.5 centimeters now. So this is actually great, but we want the shape to be on the other side, right side. So this is actually, it is on the wrong side now. So we need to move this after like resizing it. And now we want to like set the position, so we can say that it is the same. And then we should say, for example, what is like the distance. So how is this happening actually? Normally, if we have a logo and we want to insert it, like an example in the header, there is actually two controls that you can control. The first thing that the logo will be added on the left side here in this area. So let's say that we will choose this as our logo. For example, this is our logo for now. So it actually it is gonna appear here, but we want to move it to the other side. So it has a position from here to move here. So this is for the word is like 0 on the left side, and to move it, we want to move it, for example, to this side here. So this is actually around like 500 points, or for example 400 points. And there is actually another position, which is the if you want to insert it at the top or at the bottom side of the page. So this is actually also like, for example, you want to move this here, so it should be like this. You want it like a little bit down, so you have to adjust this as well. So it should look something like this. So these are the controllers that we are actually going to control to move something from here to the other side and from up to down. So this is actually we are gonna do with our logo. So we will set this for now as our beige. So we say that logo, sorry, let's say the top equal, for example, we can say 40, and left, for example, 500. And let's test this one and see what result we will get. And now we can see it worked actually. It just moved to the other side as we want, in the place that we wanted actually. So if you like reduce the size, for example, make it like 250. So if we made it like 250, you can see that uh, the base is actually uh, has the logo, and it's similar like the middle or near the middle of that page. So this is how it looks. So actually in your forms, you have to make sure that the header is actually is enough for the logo, like this one. So like this, if you created it. So for now, we will go to uncomment our last line and see if it is gonna be saved or not. So at this point, actually, we don't expect to see anything on the screen except error message, and we will see if it worked or not. So let's check it now. We have this file. Let's open it and see, and we have it exactly as we wanted. So this is actually our tutorial for today, and if you like, please subscribe and share the video. If you have any question, please ask in the comments, and in our next part we will code this into the form. So actually we will move from that prototype code into like the instead of testing, to the production code that we will use with multiple files, and we will keep these things like height, width, top, left as changing variables, so we don't have to worry about them. We will keep the user like we will let the user to set them. So please keep tuned, and thanks for watching.